Hello and welcome. Today it's all about the different Lego castles and kingdoms from the different Legoland parks around the world. So currently on the screen we have got Legoland Dubai in the big screen, and we've got Legoland Billund in the smaller screen, and we also have Legoland Windsor ready to be tagged in. But in 1 minute's time you'll see exactly what's going to happen, and then I'll explain it to you further. So about what we are going to do and compare is all of the different models, the different theming and the different scales of every single castle, and also the roller coaster as well. So you can see that we're walking through the kingdom's big gate for Dubai, and we're about to do the same thing for the actual area in Legoland Billund as well. Now the big difference is that Dubai, I think, wins this top trumps because it is just one huge land, whereas Billund is just one castle with the coaster and a slightly smaller section with like princesses and things, but it's not as sort of big as this. And Legoland Windsor is sort of a hybrid because you kind of go into the castle, then you come back out again. However, Billund does have a fantastic queue. So Billund is now gone from small to big, and we've now introduced Legoland Windsor in the bottom right-hand corner. And then in 1 minute's time, Windsor will then go big, Dubai will come back, and then we'll just keep rotating it around as a triangle. So basically, we'll have each theme park on the screen for 2 minutes, 1 minute of small, 1 minute of big. When the park disappears, the video will be paused. So wherever we finished at Legoland Dubai, it will continue from the exact same frame and be reintroduced to the smaller screen. So one thing I was about to say about Legoland Billund is I actually think the queue line is the best for Billund. I think that as a land goes, I think Dubai wins, but the actual queue line to the ride is what we're walking through now, and we'll do the same thing for all of these different sections and parks. I think Billund is miles ahead because you've got so many different displays, as you can see on the big screen currently. At Windsor, we are currently walking around the Enchanted Forest. That is one thing that the other two parks don't do. So Billund is now on pause. Dubai's come back to the smaller screen, and obviously Windsor is now in the bigger screen. So we are walking through the Enchanted Forest, and I think it looks very, very nice. It's a perfect picnic place where you can sit down and just grab yourself a bite to eat. And it's just nice as well because you're quite close to the sort of soft play areas if you wanted to for the little ones, but you are also far enough away where it's not horrendously noisy. Now, sticking eyes on Dubai, Dubai do have quite a few rides that the other two parks do not have, and that is one of them that we are looking at the moment. And they also have a couple of other shops, and they do have a big restaurant area. Now, this was all at one point a big play area. It got taken down. They actually did use that for the Brickle Treat event this time round, so they are using this area for different things, and they have done a little bit of different bits and pieces within this area for Windsor. Now, we're about to rotate through again, so when we reintroduce Windsor, we'll be back at the castle, I do believe, because that's where this video should cut off. Now, you can see Dubai is now big, back to Billund in the small. So with Billund, we're carrying on exactly where we left off in the queue line, and as I was saying, the queue line is ridiculously detailed. You can see all of those models in the red lighting and everything else. It's all on a push button as well. So there's lots and lots of things to keep the little ones entertained, and also lots of seating area in Dubai. You can see that you've got lots of benches you can sit on, and there is the smaller roller coaster in the background. Now, they don't have the smaller roller coaster at Billund because they actually class this roller coaster as just the small one, where it's actually the main one at Dubai and Windsor. So there is huge differences between the speeds, different track layouts, and everything like that. So even though they're all dragon coasters, I think Billund is slightly slower, but it's not that far off. But I think the track length is the shortest, but they don't have an apprentice like they have got at Windsor, nor do they have at Dubai. Now, carrying on, you can see that we've reintroduced Windsor in the bottom right-hand corner, and we are looking at the amazing theming in Billund still. So we're still walking around the same queue line for the same ride. It is each queue line is absolutely massive. Billund seems to be a little bit longer with regards to how it snakes around, and Billund is also the only one where you don't walk up the stairs like you do in the other two. Now, the other two will actually hit simultaneously. Now, you can see, as I was saying with Windsor, you can see the big entrance to their castle, and just how different it is, because in the watchtower is actually where the queue goes. And I do believe it by luck that we will be looking at the Windsor and Dubai queue line parallel to each other, and we'll be walking up basically the same steps. But the big difference is one is indoors, one is outdoors, but they have no models like they've got in Billund. Now, the reason why the lights keep going on and off is because they are all on a timer. So it's all animatronic. So the idea is that you keep walking through the queue line and then it just sort of turns on. You've got all the push buttons. We will get back to that in a second. Now, big screen, Windsor, small one is Dubai. So we carried on, like I said, exactly where we left off at the Dragon's Apprentice in Dubai. And we're going to be making our way into the huge castle area. Now, Dubai does have a lot of models around the outside. Windsor does as well. Not as many, I don't think. I think Windsor, out of all three parks, potentially has the least amount of actual models, but they do have that extra area with the Enchanted Forest, which Billund and Dubai do not have. Another thing that Windsor doesn't have over Dubai is a big sat down eatery within this section of the park. But with regards to rides on the outside, both of the parks that we're looking at now, they both have a Dragon Apprentice, which is the smaller ride, and they also do have a secondary ride as well. Dubai actually then has a fourth ride because, like I said, it is a main land, and they also have a couple of other little bits and pieces like these dragons. So you can see you've got a huge amount of models and everything dotted around. I really like to look at these and just take a load of photos, and then you've got all the bits and pieces covered. It's all in shelter. Now, back to Billund in the queue line. Like I said, we'll carry on where we left off. We are still looking at all of the different models that they've got available. It is a long queue line. You do snake through. Like I said, it is very, very different to the other ones, which we will be seeing very, very shortly. But I do think the theming is much, much better in the Billund queue line. Now, that is the main castle for Dubai as well. So we've now seen all of the castles, and you can see just how big the one from Dubai actually is. Big difference, though, is that it is all indoors and it is also air conditioned. And they have the Knight's Table, which they do not have in Billund, nor do they have at Windsor either. So there is huge amount of differences, and you'll spot the models as well. All the models are completely different with regards to what is in what location. But you can see now we're also walking closer and closer to the Windsor as that's been now introduced. And then we'll both be more than likely hitting the entrance at both at exactly the same time for Windsor and Dubai. But you can see this is the first bigger dragon with the sort of horse and the knight at Windsor. They are not located either in Billund or Dubai. Now, this is the actual ride. You can see in the background, you can see the big dragon from Billund as I was letting a few people go. And you've got a few more bits and pieces to snake through, and then you can just get on the ride nice and simple. And then I do believe when we get off the ride at Billund, I will then have some off-ride footage to show you just the length of the track, and then you can then compare how small Billund's track is compared to Dubai, because Dubai's track is absolutely massive. I think Dubai is also the quickest as well. I want to say Dubai is probably the quicker of the three. They all have fantastic theming as you go through, as you can imagine. If you've never done the Dragon Ride, you have huge amount of models as you sit down at the very, very start. So for the first, say, 2-3 minutes, you've got a load of animatronics and everything like that. And then all of a sudden it opens up, then you go outdoors. Whereas as you sort of can see where you're going to be going with regards to Billund and Windsor, Dubai is a little bit of a surprise because the front of the castle, the behind it, isn't actually where the track is. The track is a huge area to the left-hand side. So we are now about to go into Billund and walk through the big double doors. As you can see, as they now open up, we are now in a big air-conditioned unit. And you can see, hopefully, what we're about to do in a second, once we have a look at the Dragon's Apprentice at Windsor, we'll be then walking over the drawbridge and then having a look at all the bits and pieces that they've got there as well. So there's a better look at the Dragon's Apprentice, which is what we saw in Dubai right at the very, very start. Now, like I said, with regards to what we've just seen at Billund, we do have to walk up quite a lot of steps with regards to what is available in Dubai and everywhere else, only because of just how different it is with regards to the height of the castle. It is very, very different, and how it works with regards to you go up and loop it around. It's just one, what you think would be a straight queue line, and then it zigzags quite a lot quite high up. But here is quite nice with it being air conditioned because you don't have to worry about getting sunburnt, but you also have a nice view looking down into everybody. The only thing is it can get very, very noisy, and it is very, very echoey. So we are about to, I think we haven't got too much left of the one in Billund with regards to the queue line, because we're looking at the massive table now. So you can see all of those models and everything with all the food and everything on the table. Again, all on a push button for an animatronics, as we're about, I think, to head up the staircase for the one in Dubai, and then that will then pair up with Windsor. So you can see we're about to start heading up the steps when we get past the last couple of these models. So each one does have a very, very long queue, but I'll say it again, Billund by far has the best theming. And obviously I am walking very, very slowly because I wanted to film all of this and just soak it all in with all the buttons and how all the lights and everything work like that. So back at the Windsor one, we've just finished looking at the Dragon's Apprentice as we're getting to the main entrance, or should I say the main queue for the one in Billund. So you can see you've got the big dragon, and you can also see the coaster pulling up in the background. And now we are about to walk over the drawbridge at the one in Windsor. So again, slight difference. We walk over a drawbridge and some water in Windsor. Billund was the one that we just walked in straight away, and we walked over some water on that one. You don't do that in Dubai, but you go through the glass doors, and then you've got the air-conditioned unit. So they all do look very, very similar from the actual fascia, but when you actually start taking into consideration the shape of everything, they are very, very different. And Windsor, a bit like Dubai, it is almost like for like with regards to what is inside there. So you do have the toilets, and you do also have a little shop. The only difference is, like I said, one's got a roof and one does not. So it is very, very bizarre walking inside the building of one. So now you can see that we are going to run them parallel, which is going to be cool. So we're going up the stairs of basically both. So Windsor is obviously now the big screen. As we walk around, we're having a look at the models. You can see how the models are very, very different compared to the one from the other. And then you have a bit of a book, and then we start going up the staircase, whereas we are currently still walking up the stairs in Dubai. So they are about there or thereabouts the same walk. They kind of have the same sort of layout and structure with regards to the stairs, and they do have a couple of different models and things dotted around. But you can see how the sort of brickwork, the fascia, and the flags, looking where we are now with both, are very, very similar. But I think Dubai, with Abel having the roof, have been able to dangle a lot more flags inside the building as well. But this is what I mean about the sort of the zigzag bits through for the queue lines. You think it's not going to be that big, and you've got to go through loads and loads of these, and it's exactly the same in both parks. So like I said, we are currently at Windsor at the top, Billund is in the bottom, and now we have rotated around. So it might not have looked like we've changed, but we have. We are now back into Dubai in the big screen, and Billund, you know where that one is because it's a slightly different queue line. That's now gone back to the small. So it is very, very similar. When they suddenly change like that, the only thing that really does change is the odd flag. But there's another book. So we've seen the Once Upon a Time book that we've just literally seen at the bottom of the queue in Windsor, and it's much further on at the one in Dubai. And I think they do have one of those in Billund, but I think they've got it in the fast queue line instead. But talking to Billund, it is all changed. We are actually leaving the ride. So you can see that we're actually now at the exit, and we're about to do the same thing for Dubai as well. But what will happen is that we will then flip to the track and have a look at everything that is available externally from the ride. So you can see it's small currently, so it is moving in the distance, and then it will flip to big. Dubai, we have just said goodbye to that as well, and we will come back to Dubai for the final minute, because obviously we only had a minute at the very, very start. Now we are about to lose Windsor, but we are looking at currently in Billund is it. That is the main ride. So that is all you get basically. I would say Billund is almost bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. And like I said, I think Windsor is almost a 50-50 split. And then when we get back to the track in Dubai, there is a huge difference between the two. But we are about to lose Windsor because we're about to get to the actual ride itself. So you can keep your eyeballs peeled in the bottom right hand corner, because how we started and we did it is a loop differently. We are coming into the ride, and that'll be the last part of the land in this park to see. But you can see the queue inside the building looks similar to all the others. You've got the really, really nice fire effect and everything, and that has now gone. Now we are back to Dubai, and we'll stick with Dubai for the big screen for absolutely everything, as we are about to say goodbye to Billund as well. So we've got a couple of models and things to have a look at, but these are from the pirate section, so these aren't technically from the kingdom because you've got the spinning teacups in the background. But I was just doing my exit and outro at that point for the video, but they are very, very close together. But I think what we're about to do is pan round, and you will see the coaster shooting around. Now just look how high it is, look how fast it goes, and the track is absolutely enormous compared to what we've just seen in Billund. So Billund has gone. That is now goodbye to that one. So we are going to stick with Dubai for the final sort of 2 minutes, and then that will be it, and we'll wrap it all up. But what I will do is I'll just walk down past the track. We'll have a look at some of the models, and we'll catch the track from the other end, because, like I said, how the castle layer is to the track is almost on a big L shape, where it's slightly different as you've seen from the other two. But I do really, really like this coaster layout. I think this is it's a good bit of fun. They seem to have turned it up ever so slightly. It's sort of one of those where it just seemed to run a little bit quicker. But guys, hopefully you found this format easy enough to follow. And like I said, it's just been rotating around. Obviously, we started and finished with the main Dubai on the main screen, because obviously we only had a minute at the very, very start of the video, and obviously we'll do the last minute and a bit at the end. I have chopped up some of the videos, so it's not like the full park tour. So if you want to see the lands individually and by themselves rather than rotating through, they are all available in their own individual Legoland playlist, and you have a full tour available from every single Legoland park as well. In the comments below, let me know if it was easy enough to follow. Let me know if it all made sense. Hopefully it flowed all right, because this is the first time I've done this way. This is a new series to me, so I am trying to be a little bit clever with regards to how I'm putting things together. But I'm going to say it now, guys. If you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. It always helps with regards to your feedback. And obviously, if you just leave a like on the video as well, YouTube seems to like it. Now, that is basically the full size of the track. So you can see how we've walked around and come through. It goes some. And you've even got this little prisoner shackle thing just here as well. Last few models that we'll be taking a look at within this section, and then we will wrap it up and say goodbye. So, guys, that is it. I am done. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ta-da.